Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Jacob in Wisconsin. We're live down here in Tennessee. We are live on Facebook, X, Rumble, YouTube, the whole 9 yards. Here to talk a little Packers this morning. It's 2-0 for this. Starting at 8:24 a.m. What is this, an MLB game? Listen, Bob, we were ready to go, weren't we, Jake? We were ready to go.
Ready to go.
That's it. Mm-hmm. We got big festivities here at the ranch today. We're expecting 50 plus people, and it's going to be a long day for Clayton. So let's just get this party cranked up and get out of here as quick as we can. As you guys know, I'm a people person. So
cut to 3 hours from now, or 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever it is, and Clayton will be in his room, like watching highlights on his phone, and Mandy will be banging on the door, and Clayton will be like, I'm going to the bathroom.
The most stressful points of mine and Mandy's marriage is when we have huge get-togethers and she has to find me hiding somewhere. That's the biggest issues we've ran into in 25 years together. So that's the way that goes. So got a few things going on, though. The Jordan Love softball game, I thought that was cool. We'll hit on that a little bit. A couple Patreon questions. Is Dobbs underrated? I seen that come across the wire there with PFF, and wanted to kind of do a deep dive on it, man. You hear these, one set of the fan base thinks Romeo Dobbs is the greatest. Others think he's an absolute scrub. Usually the truth falls somewhere in the middle. We'll hit on that. We'll hit on a little Edger and Cooper if we have time. We'll hit on a little fantasy talk from Jacob. Not that kind of fantasy talk. Hey, fam, calm down. All right. And
maybe if there's time.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. Maybe. So, like we said, Jordan Love had his celebrity softball game there at the Timber Rattler Stadium. This is something that Brett Favre did forever, and he turned it over to his good friend Donald Driver, and then Donald Driver, of course, turned it over to Jordy Nelson, and then I think Jordy Nelson, I don't know who Jordy turned it over. He may have turned it over to Aaron for a little bit. I can't remember, but nonetheless, maybe Driver came back in and took it back over, and then Jordan's picked up the ball and ran with it. Here's QB1, though, is give a shout-out to Caden. I know I'm going to screw the name up. You guys know who Caden is on Twitter. He does all kinds of cool live shots from Lambeau. They're always at the game. Caden Sanila, maybe? Sanila? How would you say that? Does that sound right to you?
I'd say Sanila because of the singular L there.
Got it. There you go. All right. So he's got a shot of QB1 just absolutely blasting the ball out of the park. Here we go.
Right. The first one, I think
As someone pointed out too, Jacob, it's funny that all the quarterbacks seem to be hitting the long balls, man, in these home run derbies and stuff. It's pretty cool to see. As we got another video here as well. I think this was Jordan actually handing the home run derby trophy over to the newest quarterback in Green Bay, which is our boy Elgersma. Elgersma from Canada. And I think this guy is a slam dunk for the practice squad. He may even be on the active 53 because there was a couple of teams showing interest in him. The stuff he did in Canada was absolutely wild. But once again, you're probably going, all right, who cares for this? I can't believe the home run derby was won by a Canadian. See, you sound like me when I was a kid, and who was it? Joe Carter hit that game-winning home run in the World Series to win it for the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm still scarred by that situation. I'm like, it's America's game. How are they coming down there and beating us? But I think this is an important event. It's tradition, right? Like I said, I believe Brett was the first one to start it. As you guys know, Brett Favre was a very, very, very good baseball player before he chose football over baseball. And I can't remember what somebody said at one point, and I don't know if it's folklore, but they said that Brett Favre could throw a baseball 105 miles an hour, which would have been the record at the time. And I don't know if that's true or not, but obviously he was setting records in the NFL with his arm strength. But the reason I think this is important is because that team camaraderie. And there is a little aspect that kind of bothered me a little bit. I ain't going to lie. I look at this roster on this softball team, and I could have pulled that tweet up, I guess, but I didn't. when you look at the players that were there, I appreciate that they kind of come together like a little team bonding. That stuff's important, I think. And when I looked at that roster and seen some of the players that weren't there, I ain't gonna lie, man, it pissed me off a little bit. It's like I remember back when Brett did it and even Jordy did it. You know, you had everybody. Remember Clay Matthews got blasted in the face with a line drive?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you're going, whoa, I don't want them there then. No, it's gotten a little safer since
So
then.
do you know off the top of your head some of the more notable ones that weren't there?
I need to find that tweet, but Twitter's down right now. I don't know if they're repairing something or if they got hacked again or what, but I just remember it being, I think Tucker Kraft was there, right?
I saw Kraft in that clip. Yeah.
But there was like people, like I remember, like, you know, obviously Christian Watson ain't going to be playing. Maybe he was there and he wasn't listed on the roster. I don't remember seeing Romeo Dobbs' name. I don't remember seeing Dontavion Wicks' name. I don't know if Jaden Reed was there or not. I don't know. And I'm not just picking on the receivers. I'm saying, like, on the other side, you know, Rashawn Gary wasn't there. Adrian Cooper wasn't there to the best of my knowledge. So it's just like, why can't we come together? You know what I mean? As a team, something like that. And maybe it is being too nitpicky if that's the case. I hope that's the case. But, like, I do appreciate the fact that Matt LaFleur was there. Jeff Hafley was there. Matthew Golden was there. And the reason it's important is because when QB1, when the leader of your team says, hey, guys, let's get together.
Yeah.
It's optional. It's voluntary. But at the same time, it's like, man, can we not show a little love? You know what I mean, Jacob?
Yeah. And typically I would totally be criticizing them for not being there. I guess if I wanted to play devil's advocate, are a lot of these guys maybe not in Green Bay at the time because they're still enjoying their quote unquote time off, or you know, I'm trying to, because it does make me mad. I'm trying to look for a legitimate excuse that maybe certain players aren't there, you know. But I do think it should be one of those things, like you said, it's Jordan Love's event, so it's similar to what happened in the almost Academy Award winning movie Draft Day, when they figured out that nobody would go to the homie's birthday party. I mean, if Jordan Love's putting on a charity event, softball game, and you know Tucker Kraft is there because wasn't he the guy that said, like, I don't go nowhere in the off season. This got everything I need. Like, it's got the weight room. I'm right at this facility here. Like, I like it. So you know he's going to be there. Tyler, what's his name? How do you say that last name? Elgers?
I believe it's Elgersma. Elgersma.
I like it. I mean, he's doing everything he can do to put himself in a position to succeed. I mean, even as much as walking on the softball field, and he's got the old, I came here to hit dingers and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum, baby. He starts hitting bombs. Yeah,
it's, I don't know, man. I'm with you. I think they should be there. You know, I don't know. You mentioned the draft day, kind of tongue in cheek, the draft day situation, but that stuff, it does kind of. I'm just not going to BS anybody. I try not to be overly dramatic about things like this, and I just kind of let it. It ain't a big deal, but it does kind of pique my interest a little bit. Like, man, why can't y'all show up for your boy like that? Like, I don't know. It pissed me off. I ain't gonna lie. It's like, come on, guys. Yeah, it's almost like everybody, even though we haven't won anything, we're the youngest team in the league, Jacob, it's like everybody's a little too big for their britches at times. It's like,
exactly. What strikes me, and I hope that I'm wrong, because we're only looking at a limited few pictures and snippets here, but is it weird to you that seemingly Matthew Golden's the only wide receiver there?
And that's there may have been others. I need to find that list, but I can't get on X right now. These already had loaded up, so reason it's popping up. But yeah, probably should hold too much judgment, Jacob. And this is my fault until we find out exactly who was there, because they could have been hanging out in the dugout, right? And they just a little concerned with maybe tweaking something or getting hurt or whatever.
I think that's kind of what number one Packer fan's saying here too. He says if guys have previous arrangements, maybe they can't be there. There's a lot going on this time of year: wedding season, graduations, vacations. I agree with that, and that's where I was trying to maybe lend a little olive tree branch over there. And it's definitely not a great look, though. It's for sure.
Right. Yeah. And if I were to push back a little bit, and again, I don't think it's overly a huge deal, but this was first announced last November. Yeah. So it's like this wasn't like, put together 3 weeks ago type thing. So I don't know. I'm sure it's a big nothing burger, but it does kind of, I'm not going to lie, man. I think that stuff is important. And I know probably most fans disagree with me on that, but I think that team camaraderie, that showing support for one another, that stuff, I think that stuff truly does matter. But
Real
especially when
quick,
it's an event to raise money, I'm sure. So
yeah. So that may have been a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth if you're a Packers fan, that little segment there. But as a palate cleanser, I suggest that you guys go to Ryan's podcast, the one that dropped this morning, Packernet podcast, Mr. Ryan Schlipp. It is one of the most enjoyable episodes that I have listened to from him in quite some time. The beginning of the show is just because Ryan's doing typical Ryan stuff, hitting some facts and some stats and then giving his opinions. But then he goes into a Ross Tucker drop that he had on a Chicago radio station. Did you get to hear that, Clayton?
I did not.
Bro, I'm telling you guys, if you need to have your whole day lifted. I woke up real early this morning. I was driving around door dashing, trying to make some extra cash. Club's not paying that much lately. And so I listened. I was listening to Ryan. Yeah. Bro, Ross Tucker went on a Bears radio show and absolutely drug Caleb Williams through the dirt and the mud. And he did it in a Ross Tucker way where he didn't quite like blast him. He just kind of politely danced around, kind of saying some pretty intense stuff, and Ryan was laughing so hard, and like he didn't know who Ross Tucker was, it sounded like, from the way he introduced him. But he's like, I really like this guy now. And anyways, it's worth the listen. It is absolute. And the Bears, the poor Bears radio hosts, they're just sitting there taking it, and then they try to get in a few jabs here and there, and Ross Tucker basically just slams him down and says, Caleb Williams, long story short, he said, Caleb Williams, if I'm a Bears fan, I would be not happy right now. I would be distraught and I'd be worried.
Really?
Yeah, dude. It almost is worth if we bring it up. I don't want to piggyback off of Ryan's pod, but it is so good to listen to that it's like eating cheesecake, man. It's so satisfying.
I love it. We got Tulio. Hopefully I'm saying that name correct. Says, hey guys, first time catching you live. Go Pack Go from Brazil. So appreciate you swinging in.
Bom dia.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for dropping in. You're awesome, bub. And I know the Brazilian Packer fan base is just unbelievable, man. Yeah, I mean, you guys showed up and showed out week 1 last year. It was awesome, that energy. And I know many fans didn't like the fact that they played in Brazil and the surface was slippery and this and that. I was just so excited that the international crowd gets to experience Packer football in person, and the crowd was just electric. It was absolutely awesome. So there you go. He says, bom dia. All right. So appreciate you swinging through, buddy. Thank you so much for listening from Brazil. So, yeah, when it comes to Caleb Williams, I didn't have this on the docket to talk about, obviously, but was very, very vocal last year. The Caleb Williams defenders, and some of them Packer fans, which is really weird. And I ain't going to mention any names, but it's just like, if you say anything negative about Caleb Williams, it's like a small portion of even the Packer fan base that comes forward. Like, I don't know if they're USC fans or they've just – many times when you get people who are so overly invested and emotional into a specific topic, it's because they've gone on X and showed their ass with multiple tweets. And then when they start to realize I might be wrong here, they've got to triple down because they don't want to come across like, they got to take every opportunity to shoot down anything you have in terms of maybe disproving them. Mm-hmm. I want to be disproven. Like, if I got something wrong, there's nothing worse than not knowing that you're wrong about something. Right. Yeah, and you're convinced that you're right. That's just, oh man, so what do you think? And by the way, I'm seeing a lot of new people in the chat, which is great. The Back It Up Binge podcast, like Clayton just highlighted here, just stumbled across your channel, caught my eye because I just interviewed Packer great Bill Curry, subbed your channel. Awesome. Bill Curry is the man. He coached at Kentucky for a little bit. And I'm a big Kentucky fan. And look, there's only so much anybody can do with the Kentucky program. It is what it is. But obviously playing for Vince Lombardi and his role in the America's Game series, where he got on there and talked about his experience there as a rookie center and his first time meeting Vince Lombardi and all that. I'm sure that was a great interview. So, but thank you for swinging through. And everybody go check it up. The Back It Up Binge podcast. Go sub right now and check out the content there. We appreciate you swinging through and being a part of our morning festivities here, bub. Let's see here what you got marked here. Broski Bear says, don't you believe in giving a quarterback 3 to 4 years to prove themselves? Caleb was a rookie last year. Obviously, he'll improve on his rookie season. Yeah, here's the issue with that, Broski. Year 1, the entire mainstream media and the Chicago Bear fan base. I say entire, but 95% of the Bear fan base was like, oh, we got our guy now. Okay, cool. And the mainstream media painted this. I'm telling you, you can go pull the recibos. They're everywhere. They're littered on Twitter like a Tennessee highway. I'm just telling you right now. It was all, there has never been a team more prepared.
Never been a better spot to land for a rookie quarterback. More weapons, head coach, defense.
And then the second they started to struggle, well, the offensive line's bad. And then the second that you point out, hey, Bub, he's taken more sacks holding the ball for 4.5 seconds or longer, more than anybody else in the league right now. He's taken these horrible sacks, pushing. It's the reason that offense was so bad. You can look at the touchdown interception ratio and be a box score dweller. And listen, box scores are important to a certain extent. But when you go in and you look at the tape and you look at the situational awareness that he lacked in those third and long sacks that he took, taking yourself out of field goal range, completely stalling drives because he wants to run around for 10 seconds behind the line of scrimmage and then take a sack. Those are the type of things that are drive killers. And I'm telling you, they'll get coaches fired as well. I want to say this, though, that you first it was this team is completely built for a rookie quarterback, right? Like that, and Caleb's going to thrive in it. And then all of a sudden, it's the head coach's fault. Then it's the OC's fault, right? Now it's the offense, or then it was the offensive line's fault. You guys remember last year they went out and got all those receivers. Oh, he's got all these number one wide receiver targets. Well, that didn't fix the problem. Well, now this year, the big argument is, well, now we got the O-line fixed. Anybody who's got two brain cells to rub together can go back and watch the tape and see that the offensive line was not the only issue with that team.
If you hold the ball for 7 seconds, you're going to take a sack, bro.
Exactly. And now, can he take a step forward? Absolutely. Does he have the arm talent? There's no doubt about it. His arm talent is unbelievable. But the question is, does he have it here? And is he one of these guys who's going to continue to lay on the field and pout after he takes a 6-second sack? Because that was weird. Or let me just give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. If you think teammates don't see this stuff, first of all, him coming into the locker room and bringing all the extra flair with the painted nails and carrying the purse and this and that. Guys, this has nothing to do with your sexual preference. This has nothing to do with that. What it has to do with is a quarterback screaming, I'm most important. Give me the attention. I need to be seen. I need to be heard. That's what this is about. And if you think those big hog mollies up front ain't looking over their shoulder and going, wish he'd shut the hell up and play football. This is the type of stuff I'm talking about. This was on TV.
Yep.
When have you seen when did you see Peyton Manning do that? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When did you see Patrick Mahomes do that on the sideline? When did you see Tom Brady? Name any great quarterback. Warren Moon, some of the all-time great. Like, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. Dude, so, again, he can be a great quarterback. I believe that, Jacob. I think he's got the tools to do it. Yeah. But to sit here and just pretend like we went from this team is built, it's ready to go, to, okay, now we got receivers. Okay, now we got an offensive line. Now we got rid of the bad coach. Now we got rid of the bad OC. And now everything's going to fall into place. So this is all I want to say, and I'll turn it over to you and get your final take on it. I didn't have Caleb Williams in the show notes. But I know this, Broski Bear. Fun and games are over. If he don't do it this year, guess what? Now the talk moving forward is going to be, damn, is Caleb the guy? If he is the guy, then Ben Johnson's going to be on the hot seat like that. Yep. Me, personally, if I was a fan, I wouldn't be hitching my trailer to Caleb Williams. I'd be hitching it to Ben Johnson going, maybe Caleb isn't the guy. Just like we're saying from a realistic standpoint, maybe Jordan Love ain't the guy. Like every team has to ask that question until they prove, nope, they're one of the they're one of the Josh Allens, the Patrick Mahomes, the Lamar Jacksons, those type of guys, right? I personally think Joe Burrow's in that conversation too. I know many people disagree with that. But until you get one of those top guys, if you just continue this, we've seen this over and over and over. Mitch Trubisky was the MVP. There was more money put on Mitch Trubisky to win the MVP one year because Bears fans lost their damn mind thinking, we got the guy. Go pull the tweets, right? He was the guy. And then all of a sudden, he wasn't the guy. It's Mitch Trubisky. No, it's the coach's fault. He's gone. Okay, Mitch Trubisky's fault now. He's gone. All right, get Justin Fields in here. Justin Fields is the guy. No, he's gone. Okay, now it was the coach's fault. Now he's gone. It's just this endless cycle. You got to find the head coach and the quarterback. And if you guys are going to continue every single year to just fall in love with the next quarterback on your roster and try to convince all other 31 fan bases that this is the dude, and then I guarantee you, whoever put that, I could go pull their Twitter account right now before they deleted anything, and I can find multiple Justin Fields tweets where they're literally dogging other fan bases going, I can't believe you guys don't think this is the guy.
Yep.
Jake, you got the floor.
All right, so just to cap this off real quick here, Caleb Williams did all of this, like you said, with surrounding talent that everybody in the NFL said was going to be the best offense. It's the best spot that he could be as a landing spot. What I will push back on is clearly Broski Bear is a Bears fan. He goes on to say, so you're letting the media dictate your views. I understand the Chicago media nonsense, but I think it's wise to block that out and make your own decisions. Okay, well, here's something that you can't blame on the media. A guy that went into the NFL being known for taking more sacks than anyone that you need to in any realm of possibility. He went on to do that in the NFL as well. One other stat that may shock you is that in 20-plus air yards passes thrown, he only threw 34% of those passes catchable. Like, that's a highlighted thing that Ryan put on his podcast. I can't implore you more to read about it. And like Clayton said about the leadership skills, Ross Tucker goes on to say, this is not something that Tom Brady would do. He yells at himself more than anyone else, Tom Brady, because that's what a leader does. Caleb, like you said, slouches down, puts a towel over his face, climbs in the stands, cries to his mommy. He's got his dad putting out his media reports for him.
Ooh,
and then he pushes back. Broski Bear goes on to say, Caleb didn't throw anyone under the bus or blame anyone else. Yeah, his dad did for him. He has his press release go out there and say, I didn't want to go to Chicago. He wanted freaking ownership in the team. He said he wasn't going to go play for the UFL if he didn't get to go where he wanted to go.
None of this is true, Jacob. It's all fake.
It's all media. It's all media.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you're going to sit there and say the media has gushed over this nail Peyton dude. So I'm just saying, man, I think you need to take the Homer glasses off. But anyways,
I know this. The rubber's about to meet the road, baby. The rubber is about to meet the road. And you're going to find out this year, is Caleb the real deal or not? Because there's no more excuses. Now, what they'll do is try to back up and point, well, it's a new system. There's always going to be an excuse until that final year. If he isn't the guy, then they'll run his ass out of town and pretend like they never did think he was this generational talent. That'll happen every time. And it's just funny because, again, we didn't have a plan to talk about Caleb Williams, but isn't it hilarious how there's always Bears fans coming into Packers podcast to talk about this stuff?
Yep.
Like, seriously, why is it that you guys always show up on the Packers side to talk about your team? Isn't that strange? Like, we're not in there in your chats and your tweets. Like, if you put something out about Caleb Williams on Twitter right now, oh, they come sprinting. My favorite thing to do is click on their profile, click on the search bar, which searches their at, and you go, Justin Fields. Oh, screenshot. This you? Mitch Trubisky. This you? It's just hilarious. It's this endless cycle.
Man, I'm telling you what, we may have a future show. Broski Bear says, let me call in. Let's see if you have any.
We'll definitely do that, House Cat. We'll do that right now. First time you ever been in the chat, we'll just turn the show over to you, bub. That sounds like a winner, don't it?
Oh man, he's loving it though. I'm telling you what, that's fine. We don't got to give him any more attention.
I love it, dude. I love it. That's how you know you've arrived, when these idiots pop up in the chat. Like, it's great. I love it. So,
hey, you're helping our algorithm, buddy. Keep going.
Yeah, keep commenting. Keep firing away. Again, man, we've seen this movie over and over and over, and this may be the one, Jacob. It could. Packer fans acknowledge it. But boy, if it ain't, it's going to be great. It's going to be not the sequel. What would it be? Five episodes later, right? It happens every time. So I had somebody the other day in mentions, and we'll move on. They said we were comparing like championships and success. Like, there's nothing the Bears can say we're better than the Packers at. We've got the head-to-head over them. We got the overall wins. We got Super Bowl champions. We got overall championships. We've got MVPs. We got, you name it, right? There's nothing they can go, we're better than the Packers in, right? And the guy said,
murders.
Well, there you go. The guy came back and said, what was it he said? He said, how old were you the last time the Packers won the Super Bowl? I was like, yeah, I was 28. How old were you in 1985? Crickets. Like they step in crap every time they talk about this stuff. It's hilarious. So anyway, love it. All right, let's move it along. Let's go to Patreon questions. Appreciate everybody in there. If you want to join the Patreon community, just go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. About to hit that 200 mark. Community's growing like crazy. Love what you guys and gals are doing in there. Greg Rice in the questions for the show says, Clayton, I read two things that seemed incorrect. The Packers fan site, maybe Dairyland, that said Wicks had an 18% drop rate for 2024. The stats I saw said he was about 75 targets and 9 drops. So 9 of 75 is 12%. And I think 6 of 9 drops were in the first half of the year. They referred to PFF stats. Thoughts? The other was SI, who said Green Bay was in the bottom half of the NFL in the last half of the season for quarterback pressures. Thoughts? So appreciate you with the questions. They're great. Now, here's the thing about the drops. It depends on who you listen to. You can go to 3 different websites and get 3 different numbers. I've noticed, too, that some writers, some people who cover the Packers, you could tell their intention right off the bat. What they will do is they'll post, like you can tell somebody's pro Jordan Love and they want to try to prop Love up better than he is. Then what they'll do is they'll come in with a stat talking about how bad the receivers are, and they'll conveniently leave out the off-target throws, and they'll paint this picture like Jordan was perfect and the receivers were bad, and vice versa. People will come in and go, well, Jordan's a horrible quarterback. It wasn't the receiver's fault. Look at these inaccurate passes. What we try to do here is obviously cover all the bases, and we're going to talk Romeo Doubs here in a minute, which is going to be a fun little breakdown, because now the talk is he underrated? Is he underrated? And I genuinely didn't know how to answer that question, Jacob. So what I did was pull some stats, pull some numbers, and we'll go through an article here on Patreon in regards to that. But when it comes to Wicks did have a bad year. There's no two ways about it. And it's a part of – I think he had the lowest catch rate of all the receivers on the team, and we'll get into that article here in a minute on Romeo Doubs. But in terms of that drop rate, the only way you can know for sure, and this is why I like NFL Pro, if you guys are subscribed to NFL Pro, you can literally go into NFL Pro, click on Dontavion Wicks, go to every single target, watch every single target from the box cam and the all 22, and you can get a definitive answer on whether or not that player dropped that pass or not. And there may be some cases where, like, I remember last year, and I said this time and time again on the show, I remember last year on a specific play where they said if Jaden Reed hadn't dropped that pass on third down, and I'm like, did he really? I was thinking it was a bad throw. I go back and watch it. He's literally diving for the football and it hits his hands, and they considered that a drop. That's just a perfect example of how fans will kind of bend it in the direction that they want their argument to be correct. And that's why I always suggest watch the tape. Don't just trust PFF. Don't even just trust the numbers on NFL Pro. I trust NFL Pro because they go, hey, here's the stat, here's the tape, and you can decide. That's what I like about it. So there's your free promotion for NFL Pro. The other was SI, who said Green Bay was in the bottom half of the NFL in the last half of the season for quarterback pressures. Thoughts? See, that doesn't sound correct to me there either.
It doesn't make sense. No,
they got better with their pressure rate last year.
Way better.
Yeah. LVN was like, he was, I want to say at one point there was a stretch where he
20%.
Yeah, it was something crazy. I was thinking it was 15. It might have hit 20.
It was. I remember Ryan did a pod on that, and it was like he was up in like the 18s or 19s, and maybe even like it was everybody on that line.
And again, to me, it's about the tape. It's about going to the tape and saying, okay, what is the pass rush trying to do on this specific play? If you just take all those numbers and you just lean on that, and I'm not saying Greg's doing this. I'm just saying in general, if you just go, okay, they had this much pressure rate, this much that, this much this. If you don't go watch those specific plays, then it's going to look like, man, they ain't getting no pressure. When in all honesty, you got one guy playing a touch spot, and you're only really rushing 3 that are pinning their ears back. And again, you look at the stats, you look at the box score and go, man, they didn't get pressure or they didn't get sacks. Although, once again, we finished 8th in the league in sacks. If anybody who's listened to this show, significantly over the last few years, I don't think sacks are the ultimate stat. I don't. I would much rather have somebody who gets a ton of pressure and fewer sacks than someone gets a few more sacks and way less pressure. Because when you're moving the quarterback off the spot, you're increasing the chances of getting the ball picked off. That's the other thing, too. When you look at how the Packers did in turnover differential last year and Xavier McKinney going off with the picks, a large majority of those wasn't the quarterback sitting in a clean pocket and throwing that pick. They were getting moved off their spot. Pressure pick, coverage sack. That's typically how it plays out. So I would just say, Greg, do your own research on that. Before you invest in anything, invest in the NFL Pro, because you can watch the tape and it tells the whole story for sure. And then, of course, Chris Ian chiming in says, Clayton, would you say it's fair to say that if Glover makes the 2025 53-man roster, it would signal a failure in roster building by Goot? I would. # Excelio. If Glover makes the 53, and this is kind of an outdated depth chart, but let's pull it up in here really quick anyway. This is from our lads. Let's just see here. If he makes the 53, and last year I want to say we broke camp with 10 or 11, right? Let's say we break camp with 11 to give him every opportunity to make the roster. Here would be my 11 offensive linemen: Rasheed Walker, Aaron Banks, Elton Jenkins, Sean Ryan, Zach Tom, Jordan Morgan, Jacob Monk, John Williams being a draft pick. He's a 7th rounder. Let's hold him off for a second. Anthony Belton, that's 8, right? Yeah. Now you're looking at at least 2 more, maybe 3 more. You're looking at Travis Glover, Tyler Cooper, or Donovan Jennings. I think Travis Glover can make this roster. There's no 2 ways about it, right, Jacob? Yeah. Like, what am I missing here? Like, there's 2 spots for Travis Glover to make this roster. To answer your question, Chris, I don't think that would signal a failure in roster building by Goop, personally. But what do you think, Jake?
No, I mean, I honestly would be more surprised if he didn't make the team, because he was he a 6th round, or was he a 4th? What was it, Glover? Anybody in the chat remember what he was? He was drafted though, right?
I don't know. It was pretty late. I'll look it up. You keep talking.
I swear he was drafted. But I guess I agree. The offensive line's an interesting one. I would maybe think that maybe they trust Kadeem Telfort, one of those type of guys. But Tyler Cooper is another guy that, was highly touted. 6th round. Okay, so there you go. Coach Lynn had it too. What up, Coach? So, that's an interesting one. And it's not like the Packers haven't had success with late round offensive linemen. I mean, obviously you look at Walker and what he was able to do, or I'm sorry, Rasheed. Yeah. So I don't know, man. As much as I hate fluffing an Excelio even a little bit, he's going to run that. That's going to be his Super Bowl of the year. Is if Glover makes this 53-man roster. I wouldn't be surprised if Homies buys a jersey, but I'm just.
All right, so there are your Patreon questions. Appreciate you guys and gals. And again, if you want to join the Patreon community, scan that QR code or go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. We're going to be giving away, I believe next Saturday is going to be an autographed Lucas Van Ness rookie card. Okay, so the way that works, anybody who's a member of the $3 tier or higher, we put everybody's name on the wheel, spin that sucker, and give away a piece of memorabilia. It'd be an awesome giveaway there. We got a ton of those coming up. Probably do one a week for the next couple of months. And we got a bunch of autographed cards for giving away. Just a way for us to give back to those who are supporting the show. We appreciate everybody there. All right, Jacob, let's jump into a little Romeo Dobbs talk. How's that sound, man?
Can I ask one question, because I actually think it's a decent one?
Yeah, man. Sure.
It's coming from just a terrible, terrible source. We all know him as Affam. He just posed a question here, or a statement. He says, I think we have a little bit of an identity crisis with our offense. At first I read it and I went, but then he did say we have a pass pro type O-line, but we continue to run the ball too much, in my opinion. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but it's like, I am starting to see a little bit of a ripple, because it's like, we got 2 great tight ends we want to get into the mix. We got like 7 wide receivers, maybe 9, 10 that we want to somehow involve. And we keep telling them we're going to get you guys all involved. We got obviously Josh Jacobs, who's, I would say, a top 4 running back in the league right now. And then obviously Jordan Love, where you got the injury-ridden kind of season, and we're still just quite not sure what we're going to get out of them. And then, like you said, that offensive line, it's like, are they going to be great? Are we going to be pass pro first? Are we going to be more run dominant and mauler type? Because what is your thoughts on that? And then obviously we'll scoot it along.
Yeah, for me, Matt LaFleur's offense has always been a multiple type. And the thing that Matt LaFleur doesn't get enough credit for is him evolving. Like when he came in as the head coach in 2019, understand the roster was built for Mike McCarthy's West Coast spread, okay? And what he did, Matt LaFleur came in running a wide zone boot. Now, listen, he doesn't run Kyle Shanahan's offense. That's a big misconception. He runs Sean McVay's offense. They're both from the same tree. McVay presses into 11 personnel, and our boy Kyle Shanahan presses into 21 personnel. So with that being said, it's more the Sean McVay type. Now, when he came into Green Bay, what he looked up and said, okay, the roster isn't built for what I do. It's going to take a few years to get it to where what I want to do. So what they did was they created this modified version. And again, the media hating Aaron Rodgers, for reasons we all know about. By year 2, they immediately shifted it to Aaron's running his offense and not LaFleur's. And anybody who was paying attention could see it was a meld of both. And if you hate Aaron Rodgers, it's this selfish prick is trying to control everything. And if you're just studying the tape and understanding what Matt's doing, he's looking up going, the roster's built for a West Coast spread offense, and I'm trying to shift it into a wide zone boot offense. So it's going to take some time. Let's take a little bit from both, right? So essentially what you had was you had this hybrid version of Matt LaFleur's offense and that. And you started to see more motion than you had seen in the past with McCarthy's offense because, motion and cheat motion and pre-snap shifting and all that stuff is really, really important in the Shanahan/McVay offense. So with that being said, by year 2, you start to see it press a little more into Matt LaFleur's offense, but something happened. RPO was taking over the league. So all of a sudden you've seen RPOs get heavily implemented into Matt LaFleur's offense. Why? Aaron Rodgers has a couple of superpowers, in my opinion. He's got a bunch of superpowers, but the two that stick out to me the most is accuracy and quick release. That is, I'm telling you, short accuracy and quick release is the perfect recipe for an elite RPO offense. You also had Tay Adams, who literally Aaron and LaFleur both said Tay has freedom to run whatever route he wants to run at any time. And that's what they were doing. So you had RPO get implemented heavily into their offense, as where McVay hadn't pressed into it too much. He since had, because it took over the league. So you see Matt LaFleur go from, I love to run a wide zone boot out of 11 personnel, to crap, we got to run a hybrid version of West Coast spread and wide zone boot. Oh, look at this. RPO is taking over the league. Let's implement a third of our offense in the RPO aspect. They did that, all while still having dagger, strike, all those concepts that he loves. And then as time went on, teams started to catch on to the RPO. You've seen teams really catch on to the RPO, in my opinion, in 2022, Aaron's last year. It was no longer there, and you didn't have Tay Adams. So that's a recipe for disaster, especially with Aaron Rodgers having a broken thumb on his throwing hand, which the Aaron Rodgers haters still refuse to believe that had any impact whatsoever. So what you've seen is they've started to evolve and shift into a run-heavy offense. Why? Duo gets implemented into his offense, which is very similar to an inside zone scheme. It's just double-double as opposed to just straight inside zone. Some people would say it's the same thing. That's cool. We can agree to disagree. I think of duo as at least 2 double teams with vertical displacement, but that's just me and the clinics that I've studied. So you see Matt LaFleur go from offense to offense to offense, adjusting on the fly and duo taking over. Now what's happened this year, AFAM, is you're seeing them going with bigger body offensive linemen. Aaron Banks in free agency, Anthony Belton in the draft. What's that tell you? They're probably going to continue to press into duo. So if you're looking for an offense where it's just going to be Jordan Love winging it all over the yard, that may happen eventually. But to me, the proof of how they're building the roster suggests they're going to try to press into the run a little bit more. And now that Jordan's healthy, with that knee being healthy, you're going to see him under center more and running more wide zone boot. That we gotten away from it last year a little bit because obviously the knee injury and everything in between. That makes sense. Does that all make sense, or am I just speaking out loud?
It makes sense to me, and honestly, hell hath frozen over because Affam says, I agree, Clayton. But he did go on to say the RPO could be really effective if Jordan can leverage his quick release and dropping that arm angle, which I agree with too. Like, he is one of the only, and that's, we're throwing shade at Caleb. That's one thing he can do. It's one thing Pat Mahomes can do.
Oh, yeah.
Not a lot of quarterbacks do have that kind of dart sidearm throw. You know what I mean? The old catfish hunter throw. I like it.
Yeah, so let me just hop this in here or write this down real quick. Packers offense.
Affam was asking a question. To be honest, I'm not sure what duo is. Is that typically to long story short, that basically you're looking for double teams off the line.
Duo it's inside zone concept. Like when you're talking a zone blocking scheme, the offensive line is blocking to an area, not a specific person. Like it's not, okay, I got that guy. There's keys that are going to enter and exit your zone, and you kind of let the defense use their own momentum against themselves, right? So with an inside zone, it's more of like you're blocking space as opposed to blocking one individual person. Here's the gap we're hitting type thing. With duo, it's called duo or double-double because typically, this is the way I was taught. Duo is two double teams on the offensive line with vertical displacement. It's called vertical power. Like when you run a power play, you're pulling a guy from the back side of the play to the run side of the play, and you're skipping at least one gap, right, as a lead blocker. With duo, you're getting two double teams, and then they're passing off, and they're gonna pass that block off, and one of those two double teams, one player from each of those two double teams are now going to get to the second level and try to dig out a backer and a safety. Okay, that's called duo. Two aspects. As they said, Clayton, when I was asking a coach here locally, what is duo? He said, great question. When you find out, let me know. Because he laughed about it because everybody's got a different. It's like in the minute details. How far do you want to take it? He said, we see duo as two things. Okay, it's two double teams and vertical power. That's duo to us. Now, Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, in my opinion. I know many people will hate me for that, but I believe that's the case. On a telecast last year, called a specific play in the Green Bay game, duo, when there was only one double team, but he had vertical displacement. So there's some people that may see duo as just one double team and then break off and get to the next level. I would rather just call that inside zone with one guy getting to the next level because, again, duo has always been explained to me as double-double. Mike Wall actually called it double-double as well. So he obviously played offensive line in the league, and he may have changed his mind since then as well. But there's a lot of debates that goes on X, and I've mentioned this time and time again on this show, where people will show a running play and they'll go zone or duo, and they'll have a question mark. And everybody's – I mean, it's literally like a Royal Rumble in the comments. Everybody arguing, disagreeing on it. So, yeah. You're welcome, Ethan. Good question, buddy.
Weird professionalism from AFAM. Never mind. He never mind.
Yeah, there you go. Didn't take long at all, did it? All right. Wow, man, we didn't get to our first topic, and it's already the end of hour one.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So that's going to do it for hour one. For those of you listening on the pod, we'll see you on the other side for hour two, where we're going to continue a conversation about Romeo Doubs, or actually dive into it. And let's find out, is he truly underrated, as some people on X were saying. So we'll see you over on the other side for hour two. We appreciate y'all.